A veteran Russian actress, a veteran Russian producer-director, and a veteran Russian cosmonaut are in the express lane of the orbital highway to the International Space Station, bearing down on the outpost for an arrival 42 minutes from now. Good morning once again from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where flight controllers here are working with their counterparts across the ocean at the Russian Mission Control Center in the town of Korolyov outside Moscow, bearing down and watching their data screens as the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft with veteran cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov, actress Yulia Peresild, and producer-director Klim Shipenko are in the final moments of their rendezvous for a two-orbit, quick, fast-track rendezvous to the International Space Station, with docking to the Rassvet module on the Earth-facing side of the complex, scheduled less than 42 minutes from now at 7:12 a.m. Central Time, 8:12 a.m. Eastern Time. This journey to the International Space Station began some 2.5 hours ago with the launch of the Soyuz 2.1A booster from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. You see the liftoff there. Liftoff occurring at 1:55 p.m. Baikonur time. The Soyuz arced out to the northeast to an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. The ascent was perfectly normal. Everything went by the book. And 8 minutes and 46 seconds after launch, third stage shutdown occurred on the Soyuz booster. It fell away. Spacecraft separation ensued. And just seconds later, the Soyuz automatically commanded its solar arrays and navigational antennas to deploy, as you see in this clip from the replay that occurred about 2.5 hours ago. Since then, all of the engine firings to raise the orbit of the Soyuz vehicle to match that of the International Space Station have gone perfectly. No issues associated with any of the automated commanding for the Soyuz, which now is in the final stage of its race to catch up to the International Space Station. All of the systems have functioned by the book. No issues associated whatsoever with the rendezvous to this point that is fully automated with the Corps' automated rendezvous system on both the Soyuz and the International Space Station communicating just fine with each other. If everything goes as planned, this will be an automated rendezvous. However, the Soyuz commander, Anton Shkaplerov, in the center seat of the descent module of the Soyuz, will be at the controls in the unlikely event that he would have to take over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz for its docking. You see in this crew portrait, Shkaplerov in the middle. On the right is Klim Shipenko, the producer-director, who will be shooting the movie called Challenge that will feature Yulia Peresild on the left in this crew portrait. Peresild, a veteran Russian actress, will be portraying a surgeon who is launched on an emergency basis to the International Space Station to conduct surgery on an alien crew member. In this case, that crew member will be portrayed by cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky, who's aboard the International Space Station.
Let's wait.
Novitsky will be returning with Peresild and Shipenko for a landing in the Soyuz MS-18 spacecraft on October 17th, Kazakhstan time. They will be departing in the vehicle that brought Novitsky, Mark Vande Hei, and Pyotr Dubrov to the station back in April. They will land parachute-assisted landing in the steppe of Kazakhstan on October 17th, Kazakhstan time, late in the evening of October 16th, U.S. time. Shkaplerov will be left behind to continue his mission on board the International Space Station. He will be at the controls of the Soyuz MS-19 when it returns late March of next year with Vande Hei and Dubrov for their landing. For Vande Hei and Dubrov, they'll be wrapping up a 355-day mission on board the International Space Station. Standing by on board the station at this hour, the Expedition 65 crew, led by the new station commander, Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency. He took over command of the station from Aki Hoshide yesterday. This is a clip of the change of command ceremony that took place on Monday. Pesquet becoming the first French astronaut to command the International Space Station. That change of command ceremony handed off the keys to the kingdom, if you will, from Hoshide to Pesquet, who is now the commander. Pesquet will hand off command of the station to Anton Shkaplerov, actually, in...
The range is 500 meters, and the range rate is -8 points.
Before Pesquet returns home with the rest of the Crew Dragon crew that he launched with back in April, Pesquet, Megan MacArthur, Shane Kimbrough, and Hoshide returning to Earth. They will be returning to Earth in their Crew Dragon Endeavour to wrap up their long-duration mission. Pesquet, before he departs, will hand over command of the station to Anton Shkaplerov. The Soyuz MS-19 is closing in for its rendezvous and docking to the International Space Station. The highlights from this point on, you can see the current configuration of the station, the Soyuz MS-18 that Peresild and Shipenko will return to Earth in on October 17th, Kazakhstan time, is docked to the Nauka module. It conducted a relocation from the Rassvet module to the new multipurpose laboratory module, Nauka, 1 week ago. That cleared the Rassvet docking port for the arrival of the MS-19 that you see that will occur with the link-up scheduled to take place about 36 minutes from now. As the Soyuz gets a bit closer to the International Space Station, it will conduct an automated fly-around to precisely position its forward docking probe in the direction of the Rassvet module docking port. That fly-around will start at a range of about 400 meters with the Soyuz separated by that distance from the International Space Station. A fly-around angle of about 59 degrees is planned for the vehicle before it moves into a brief period of station keeping to enable flight controllers and Korolev to take a look and make sure they're happy with the alignment of the Soyuz for its final approach and docking. Once that docking occurs, there will be a few moments to allow the relative motion between the two vehicles to dampen out against one another. That will initiate the retraction of the docking probe to bring the two docking interfaces firm against one another and initiate the closing of the hooks on both sides of the docking interface. That then, in turn, will be followed by a period of almost 2 hours of leak checks before Shkaplerov, Peresild, and Shipenko work to open up the hatch to the Soyuz vehicle. Thomas Pesquet and his Russian colleagues, Oleg Novitsky and Pyotr Dubrov, will open up the hatch on the Rassvet module side of the docking interface, and the new trio of inhabitants of the International Space Station will float on board for a welcoming ceremony that is scheduled at around 9:05 a.m. Central Time, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time.
Moscow. The range is 3 kilometers, 500 meters, and the range rate is minus 8.6. Copy.
And as you heard through that interpreter, the word from the Russian Mission Control Center is that the Soyuz is now just 3 kilometers away from its docking port at the Rassvet module of the International Space Station, closing at a rate of about 8 meters per second. That rate will slow down considerably with the Soyuz traveling at a very, very glacial pace of about 1/10 of a meter per second at the time of contact and capture to the Rassvet module docking port.
Moscow Station on Space to Ground 1. Just got the tally-ho on Soyuz, and now it's lost again. So the signal is still unstable. We're going to wait until it gets stronger to start recording.
Moscow. The range is 2 kilometers, 800 meters.
I'm getting
and
a
the range
good
rate
sharp
is minus
image.
8.5. Copy.
And
stand by
I'm ready to press recording if you're go Moscow.
The Soyuz now just 2 kilometers away from the International Space Station, closing at the appropriate rate. Shipenko and Peresild, again, will spend about 12 days on board the station filming the movie titled Challenge. The first time a movie has been shot in space. That movie filming will begin almost immediately. The crew will have an opportunity for a safety briefing, which is traditional after the welcoming ceremony coming up later this morning. But time is precious to capture all the scenes that they plan to film once on board the station. Most of that shooting of the film will take place in the Russian segment of the International Space Station. There will be scenes that will be filmed in the cupola on the U.S. side of the International Space Station. The 2 spaceflight participants, Peresild and Shipenko, are considered spaceflight participants, not expedition crew members, so they will be escorted into the U.S. segment of the station when required under the terms of the agreements between Roscosmos and NASA and the International Partnership.
The operation is not illuminated anymore. Copy. So the delta V is 5.54. So the burn value is 554, and we are monitoring the retrograde maneuver. Copy.
The Soyuz currently conducting a series of so-called impulse burns. These are small mid-course correction burns of the Soyuz engine to fine-tune its path toward the International Space Station.
Now the station is again in the center of the crosshairs, and GSO in attitude flag is on display, is confirmed.
And there is our first view of the Soyuz MS-19.
The range is 1 kilometer 700 meters, and the range rate is...
Less than 3 hours ago, it was sat on the launch pad at the Baikonur Cosmodrome, and now, through the wonder of orbital mechanics, it is approaching for a docking just 2 orbits later. Fast-track approach for Shkaplerov, Peresild, and Shipenko. Shipenko is board engineer number 1, seated in the left seat. Shkaplerov, the Soyuz commander, in the center seat of the descent module, the center most section of the 3-section Soyuz spacecraft. Peresild is on the right as board engineer number 2. They are actually filming some scenes with handheld cameras while on board for this approach. Novitsky and Dubrov are also shooting imagery that is part of the filmmaking process on board the International Space Station as the Soyuz moves into the final leg of its rendezvous for docking.
Andrei, a request. Could you please make it in full screen, the image, because we are receiving the image of your input to display currently. Copy. In work.
1.3 kilometers separating Soyuz from the International Space Station, closing at a rate of about 4 meters per second right now.
So
you can occasionally see the engine firings from the Soyuz, impulse burns as they are called, as the Soyuz hones in to its target, which is the Rosviet module docking port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the station. This view now from a camera on the Soyuz spacecraft. the engineering overlay showing the data that is also being interpreted by the Russian flight controllers in Korolyov. Soyuz just 1 kilometer away.
Moscow.
The Soyuz and the International Space Station currently crossing the equator, moving from southwest to northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator at an altitude of about 260 statute miles.
Periscope and
good view from external cameras on the station of the Soyuz as it moves steadily towards its target on the Rassvet module.
Braking. Confirmed. Copy.
Дальность 900, скорость минус 2.76.
The range is 900 meters and the range rate is minus 2.6, minus 2.6. Copy.
We're about 3.5 minutes away from the start of the fly-around by the Soyuz.
The range is 800 meters and the range rate is minus 2.47. Copy. We have another memory card here.
Дальность 700, скорость минус 2.4.
The range is 700 meters and the range rate is minus 2.4 meters per second.
The Soyuz and the International Space Station now approaching the west coast of Africa.
5 command in order to work with AGC to improve the image quality. Moscow, depot operation is confirmed. We confirm.
Another one of the small so-called impulse burns has been accomplished. The Soyuz on a true course for its docking to the Rassvet module. Docking is scheduled about 23 minutes from now.
Четкость изображения хорошая, только резкость
So the
не очень.
image is clear but not very sharp on the co-monitor. We see the same. We see the station.
500 метров, скорость минус 1.6.
The range is about 500 meters, the range to the station, and the range rate is minus 1.6 meters per second. Copy.
Это уже не для фильма можно. Это уже...
Все так сразу расслабились.
Я, вот мы на орбите. Дальность 450 метров, скорость минус 1.5.
The range is 450 meters, and the range rate is minus 1.5. Copy.
440 meters now separating the Soyuz from the International Space Station. Soyuz with an actress, a producer, and a veteran cosmonaut on board, flying 260 miles over Mauritania.
1.36. So stand by for fly around. Astray. Standing by.
And the fly around is now underway at a range of about 400 meters.
Is confirmed. The range is 390 and the range rate is -1.
All of the events right on the timeline. Everything going very smoothly to this point.
That's a beautiful view.
This is about a 60-degree fly around that will precisely align the forward docking probe on the Soyuz with the Rassvet module docking port. A few moments from now, the Soyuz and the International Space Station will be flying just to the south of Casablanca.
150 and the range is -0.721. Copy.
Дальность 300 метров, скорость -0.56.
The range is 300 meters and the range rate is -0.56. Copy. Monitor, continue monitoring the fly around and also the K-15 on display, this final approach flag.
Great view of the Soyuz MS-19 flying. So the Soyuz launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, heading toward final approach for docking to the Rassvet module. Docking scheduled at 7:12 a.m. Central Time.
Yes, MRM-1, Yulia.
Дальность 270 метров, скорость -0.4.
The range is 270 meters and the range rate is -0.4 meters per second. Copy, Astray.
About halfway through the fly around that will precisely align the Soyuz with the Rassvet module. There will be a very brief period of station keeping so that Russian flight controllers in Korolyov at the Russian Mission Control Center can evaluate the alignment of the Soyuz with Rassvet.
Нет.
Can you see it through the window? No, I cannot.
Я только такие мигающие, как будто как звезды.
I can only see something blinking.
The Soyuz appears suspended over the textured desert of northern Africa,
The range is 250.
just about completing its fly around.
-0.3. And we are now approaching the docking port. Copy, Astray.
Круговой поиск СНЦ наблюдаю.
So the circular search SNT is confirmed. Copy, control the switching of course, final approach.
Есть причал курса первого.
Course 1, final approach flag. We are right opposite the docking port of MRM-1. The range is 210 meters and the range rate is 0.14. So
the Soyuz automated rendezvous system locked on to the station's automated rendezvous system.
keeping in cone. So I have pre-chow final approach flag K-15. Copy.
The Soyuz and the International Space Station now flying over the Mediterranean.
Copy.
Настрой по готовности выполняйте действия по 53 странице, установить рассеивающий экран на войска по вашему усмотрению, включить подсветку войска и включить фару С-17.
Astray, Moscow, go to page 53, switch on the floodlight, and you also can install the dissipating screen. Copy, Moscow, I don't need the screen, and I'm ready to switch on the floodlight. Moscow. The LED fly around is not illuminated, and station keeping flag is confirmed. I am activating the floodlight and go to page 54. Copy.
And at a range of some 200 meters, the Soyuz now has begun a brief period of station keeping.
So go to display final approach. I am sending final approach from the rendezvous display. 14:58:45 is the time of the command pre-chow. The LED is on, and the GSO.
And the final approach command has been sent. The Russian flight controller is happy with what they're seeing.
200 meters, and the range rate is
final approach initiated. Soyuz 180 meters away.
The range is 180, and the range rate is 0.87. Copy. The target is up by approximately 1 degree to the left and up.
.150 meters now separating the Soyuz from its destination.
Range is 140. And we are seeing the
Soyuz now crossing the coast of northern Italy.
All right, we're not receiving any video, so please report and provide a writing commentary.
We're in between satellites on our tracking and data relay satellite system. Should be regaining our downlink signal from the International Space Station a short time from now. Everything continuing to go smoothly. 80 meters now separating the Soyuz from the station. This video now from the Soyuz over Russian ground stations.
Astray, MCC Moscow. The range is 70 meters, and I confirm the target is in the center of the periscope. Range rate is unintelligible and inaudible.
The Soyuz's Core's automated rendezvous system locked on to the docking target on the Rosviet module, 64 meters separating the Soyuz from Rosviet.
Range is 60, and range rate is 0.22. Copy. How do you copy us on VHF loops? Astray, MCC Moscow. How do you copy us? The range is 50. 0.18 is the range rate, and we are to the left by 1 degree. Astray, how do you copy us? Astray, MCC Moscow. Moscow.
You can see in the lower left-hand corner the values that are the key right now, just 46 meters separating Soyuz from the station, closing at a rate of just over 1/10 of a meter per second.
And we see on the display that Moscow. Astray, the comm is pretty ready. And we're selecting course 2 on the panel. And how do you copy? We confirm that there is circular surge. And Astray, this is MCC Moscow. How do you copy us? We confirm the fly around the ISS. Course 2 is on. The target is moving to the right. MCC Moscow. Astray, MCC Moscow. How do you read us? Astray, MCC Moscow. How do you copy? And final approach for course 2 is up and illuminated. The target is off to the left by about 1 degree. The crosshairs are aligned. Astray, MCC Moscow. How do you copy us? Astray, this is MCC Moscow. How do you copy? We read you loud and clear now. Wonderful. There was a dropout, so we didn't copy your last. But we are monitoring the activation of course 2 system and final approach for the course mode. And please, from the final approach display, send the final approach enabled command. Copy, in work. I am ready for the final approach command to be sent. Moscow, do you want me to send it? Go ahead. Send the final approach command. Done. Currently, the range is 70. We're off by one degree, and the crosshairs are aligned. The range rate is 0.3. The target is in the center of the periscope. We copy all.
Anton.
Anton. Range is 60. Range rate is 0.25. Are you receiving the video, Moscow? Yes. Anton, go ahead. If the range is at 40 meters, please, unintelligible, please switch automatically into RODK, digital control loop, and manual docking. Copy. Range is 50, range rate 0.18, and I confirm that we see the docking node, the crosshairs are aligned. Astray, FYI, 1519 is the sunset. Copy. The range is 45 meters.
This is Mission Control Houston. 45 meters separating Soyuz from the International Space Station, still flying in under the automatic control of the Corps' automated rendezvous system. There was a brief pause for a bit of a correction in the orientation of the Soyuz to the Rassvet module docking port. Everything seems to be in order.
So, range rate is 0.14. The offset is about 1 degree, but the crosshairs are aligned and the target is in the center of the periscope.
Slowly but surely closing in, now at a range of just over 30 meters away, closing at a rate of 1/10 of a meter per second.
Astray, just FYI, we have 10 minutes of comm left. Copy. Range is currently 30 meters. Yes, and I confirm that the range is 30 meters, the range rate is 0.11, and we confirm that course second has failed, and I am sending the RODK digital control loop command. Yes, it's all as we actually predicted. I am sending the RODK, and I'm switch over to the manual controls, control approach and docking, and go to page 60. Going to page 60. How do you copy us? I see the ISS, and I'm jumping to page 61. Please proceed working for page 61. I am on page 61. RODK L1 digital control loop is illuminated. Anton, do not even look at course. Just do it visually, everything visually. Copy. On input panel, KSP left selected. On input right, I am switching to RODK digital control loop.
This is Mission Control Houston. With some RADI data being acquired through the Corps' automated rendezvous system, Anton Shkaplerov has now taken over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz for the final few meters prior to docking.
Copy. I'm selecting Depot thruster selection. Car 1 is illuminated. Car 1 is illuminated. I am deactivating gas 6. Confirm. Gas 6 is sent. We don't have wide angle, narrow angle lens illuminated. I am verifying the hand controller test. Up, down, left, right, clockwise, counterclockwise for translational hand controller. Successful. Translational hand controller is working. Up, down, left, right. Switch towards me, pulling towards me, E and away. There is a little bit of jumping image when I'm doing the test. So, station keeping complete. I'm not going to be putting on an overlay display. AGC mode is not illuminated. The headlight is illuminated.
Shkaplerov has conducted a quick test of the hand controller on the Soyuz vehicle, manually flying the Soyuz in, following some ratty data on the Core's automated rendezvous system. He has defaulted under the direction of the Russian flight controllers to a manual approach.
It's okay. It's all good. The target is to the right and up. There will be a pretty radicom. Yes, and it's within 1 degree. How are you? I'm all right. This is Julia. And it's going to come up in 15:35. That's when we're going to get the comm back. Okay, copy. And the target is in the center of the periscope, so please provide us. The docking node is off by 1.5 squares, and the range is about 45 meters. The sky's illuminated.
Shkaplerov took over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz after the Core's automated rendezvous system had guided the Soyuz and its 3 occupants in to a distance of about 75 meters. There was some ratty communications and some ratty data that was observed from cores. So Shkaplerov was directed by the Russian flight controllers to take over manual control of the flying. There was a brief period of station keeping once again, and now everything appears to be in order with the docking target aligned with the crosshairs on the external camera of the Soyuz vehicle.
But you should be able to see it already with the headlight. I can see everything really well. The station is in the center of the periscope. The crosshairs are aligned, and the range is about 40 meters. I have the input panel enlarged to full screen.
Just 35 meters separating Soyuz from Rosviet. You can see the docking port almost in the center of the crosshairs.
Everything clearly on VSK. And currently the docking node is a little bit off, about 1.5 squares, and we are at 20-30 meter range. I'm performing the station keeping. Station keeping is complete. We copy. Once you are ready, approach to the range of 3 meters. I am ready. Please verify that SSVP is ready. 5 SSVP is not. D7 is illuminated. D9 is illuminated. D13 and 17 are all illuminated. Copy. I'm proceeding. Please check S11. S11. You are working per page 62.
С-11 наблюдаю.
S11, I see it.
Здесь горит.
S11 is illuminated.
Готовлю рут импульсная.
I am prepping translational hand controller pulse mode. Anton, we have very little time left.
2,5 клетки, да?
And the range is about 25 meters. So please do not forget about 3-meter range.
Вас понял.
Copy.
Ну, дальше все как учили, все получится.
Well, and after that, just as you trained for, you'll be fine.
Ну, я слышу, что... Да, еще 2 минуты. Еще...
We'll be passing out of range of Russian ground stations momentarily, but the direction to Anton Shkaplerov is to continue to push in manually towards docking, about 25 meters separating Soyuz from the Rosviet module.
Anton,
Да, слушаю вас.
go ahead. Even if, please proceed with the final approach and docking, even if we don't have any comm. On Veska, we are off by 3 squares. We are in the at about 20 meter range, and I sense unintelligible. Copy.
Антон, минута до...
Anton, 1 minute till sunset. We copy. Proceed, provide running commentary if you can so that we could try and listen in. R5, Romeo 5, is that one?
Да, да.
Yes, that one.
Soyuz and the International Space Station flying over eastern China, moving from northwest to southeast. Soyuz about 18 meters away from docking, being flown manually by the Soyuz commander Anton Shkaplerov.
The target is off by 1.5 squares.
Антон, после
Anton,
ПВД не забываем.
please do not forget to deactivate the translational hand controller and the RODK after the probe retraction. RODK digital control loop should be off after the probe retraction. And we are going to come back at 35 minutes. Correction, com is going to be back at 15:36. Well, God be with us. Good luck to us. Guys, what's the range? Astray, what is your range? Do you want me to deactivate it? Astray, come in. This is MCC Moscow. I'm standing by for contact. You sent the, so we confirm a mechanical connection, mechanical capture confirmed, and we confirmed depot thrust activation is not illuminated. Translational and rotational hand controllers are not illuminated. We confirm that the docking mechanism is engaged. Astray, MCC Moscow, go ahead. We are continuing. Aeroaka, we no longer have the Rodeka digital and analog control loops illuminated. Don't forget about Gulf 4 command. Anton. And this one is not illuminated. The probe is retracting. Victor 9 is not illuminated, and we are on the final approach display. All right.
This is Mission Control, Houston. Anton Shkaplerov reporting mechanical capture or docking occurring at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. The docking probe in the process of being retracted.
Command is sent. Victor 8.
We did not have downlink television, and we had choppy communications at the time of docking, which now is confirmed 7:22 a.m. Central, 8:22 a.m. Eastern.
Skip anything, so we don't need to deactivate the translational hand control and then pulse mode. Then you need to deactivate the Rodeka mode. Rodeka digital control mode is off. BIOS L8 command, L8 sent and agreed. It's not illuminated. Let's check. And then this one, V9. Which one? Okay, we already did that. We did have it. So let's check the KDO parameters. Everything's nominal, and we are jumping on 2357. Copy. Well, hold on. I'm leafing through, and we are sending the R7 command. R7 switching to the wide-angle lens. R7 command is sent. All right.
Once again, docking occurring at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. Anton Shkaplerov flying the Soyuz manually in for a docking after some communications issues occurred with the Corps' automated rendezvous system that prompted the Russian flight controllers to have Shkaplerov fly in manually. Again, contact and capture occurring at 7:22 a.m. Central, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time, as the Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 260 miles just to the north of the Philippine Islands.
Start and start. And start confirmed.
Oleg or Piotr, how do you read me?
Nice. So 15:25, that's the time. And we can start the timer. We need about 15 minutes between, and then we can deactivate TVS system, TV video system on input panel 2, and in parallel to that, we'll be verifying the, checking out the compartments, and then deactivate the TV. Astray, MCC Moscow. Get 4. Don't forget about Get 4. They mentioned that to us. All right, Get 4. TV is off. TVS, right? Is that the TV? Yes, and let's now send the Get 4 deactivate command. It was illuminated, and now turning it off. Delta 4. Now switching over to display. Station, how are you doing, guys? Anybody?
Through Oleg and Piotr.
Do we need any measurements? No, they are going on in the background. Don't worry about that. And TVS, Oleg, how do you copy us? What was the capture time? Monitor it here. Piotr, could you tell us the time of contact? Astray, MCC Moscow.
There was
I was trying to take pictures from the well, just an approximate. Oh, it was about 5 minutes ago. Around 20 or 2022. No, not earlier than that. Astray, MCC Moscow. S13, let's verify. S13 is illuminated, hooks are open. D17 is not illuminated. Delta 15 should be illuminated. Confirm. Latches, Delta 13 are not illuminated. Okay, Delta 11. D11 is illuminated. SM probe not illuminated. All right. Good. Golf 11. Let's move over to there. And then we'll be standing by. Maybe we'll get the comm back.
Astray, MCC Moscow, so 2 course sets failed. Yeah, we didn't like it either, you know. So both failed. So can we start doing unintelligible? Not yet. Anton, so should we check the probe D17, D15? I have already checked that. Now we are standing by for the 11. Once it is illuminated, Astray, Moscow, so the repress is on. Moscow, Astray 1, how do you copy me? We copy you loud and clear. How do you copy us, Anton? Anton. So, you know, I cannot hear you very well, Piotr. So, you know, on space to ground 1, the comm is not stable. This is Piotr. Okay. So, all right. So I will have to deactivate the repress. All right. We are standing by for day 11.
This is Mission Control, Houston. Confirmation has been received that the hooks are now closed, forming a hard mate between the Soyuz and the Rosviet module on the Earth-facing side of the International Space Station.
This is Moscow. How do you read me on Space to Ground 1?
Did you call me? Did somebody call me? The 11 is on.
Once again, some unexpected communications issues in the home stretch of what had been a clean and flawless rendezvous by the Soyuz following its launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. The final approach took a bit longer than usual as Anton Shkaplerov took over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz for the final few meters. Station keeping at one point, aligning the Soyuz docking probe with the Rosviet module, finally pushing in on final approach for contact and capture at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time.
30:45 is the time.
No,
15:31 to be more exact. So SSBB is deactivated as 1 on both display. Astray, Moscow. Also the log record. Oleg.
So it took a few extra minutes, but Russian actress Yulia Peresild, her producer-director Klim Shipenko, Soyuz commander Anton Shkaplerov are now safely engaged at the International Space Station. The docking probe is in the process of retracting. Hooks are closed. And leak checks will begin a short time from now that will lead to the opening of the hatch between the Soyuz and the Rosviet module.
Okay,
please
so
bear with us because
Anton,
we're not
go ahead.
them, so they may not
Moscow,
we are hearing them,
you know,
but they may not
can hear you quite well, so you can provide a running commentary.
So
Moscow,
please,
we have
ask them to get
completed
in
all
touch
the
with us
actions as
to
per page
contact
57, the activated SSVP after we have
Moscow station.
the 11th, the probe is retracted, and so the mode is executed, LED,
I have
but
relayed this
illuminated.
information to
So we
Anton.
also recorded all the names of the files in the log, and we are at page 58 right now. We are checking AKG.
Houston Station 1 for com check.
Okay, I have you loud and clear now.
Houston Space Ground 1, we've got you.
Copy that. You may...
So the pressure in ESA 801.
Pressurization.
The hooks are closed on both sides of the docking interface. That now confirmed through telemetry from the Russian Mission Control Center.
While you're at it.
So the Soyuz MS-19 safely at port, and a Russian actress and her producer-director are on set at the International Space Station for 12 days of movie making.
How do you copy us?
Copy.
Moscow, this is S31. So after the 5-minute measurement, this ESA pressure is 801. In BO, it is 826, and in the instrumental compartment, it's 893. The delta
So we expect to have
in ESA and BO is 0, and it is 1 in the instrumentation compartment, and the next measurement will be taken in 15 minutes. Okay, now we will have to wait for 15 minutes. Maybe the comm will resume, hopefully. So, Oleg, can you relay to Moscow that we have completed 57 page actions, and now we are on page 58. The 5-minute measurement is complete.
This is Mission Control Houston. The crew on board the Soyuz, Shkaplerov, Peresild, and Shipenko, now evaluating all of their systems following the docking of the Soyuz to the International Space Station's Rassvet module. It was conducted manually by Anton Shkaplerov, but and a few minutes behind schedule, but the docking occurring at 7:22 a.m. Central, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. The docking probe retracted as planned. Hooks are closed on both sides of the docking interface. Leak checks at that docking interface will begin a short time from now.
МКС СУП Москвы в канале СГ-1 для Олега и Петра. Для информации через...
Station Moscow.
Будет.
Space to ground 1 in the blind for Oleg.
So,
and
2022,
FYI, we should have a stable combat in about 2 minutes.
So,
Moscow Station.
We will have to do a transition route to the
Space to ground 1, this is Oleg.
I think it will be easier from now on.
64 and Electron, you were saying something about that, but I couldn't understand what I need to do that.
You know, we
NPEV
should have
needs
some
to
kind of
be
instruction for the activation.
Positioned to electrical control mode. Okay, if I heard you correctly, Electron needs to be switched to
Okay, so the backlight unit should be stowed. Yes, we will do that. Astray Moscow, how do you copy? Anton. Yes, I copy you loud and clear. I copy you loud and clear,
Moscow
Moscow.
Station, Space to
We
ground
are
1.
at page 58, standing by for 15 minutes to do the leak check. After 5 minutes, there were no issues. How do
I
you
heard
copy?
your report about PEV,
Do you copy
that
us?
it's
How are things?
in electrical control now.
So after the docking,
And
what did you
once
do, Anton?
again,
I worked page 57. They activated the headlight with closer PV1 and started checking, doing the leak check. After 5 minutes, we didn't have any issues, and SW data was 0, and in instrumentation compartment it was 1. Anton, I know that.
I have stopped.
Great job. You know, there are some people who would like to talk to you. We will prepare the comm from Baikonur. Okay, go ahead. I'm ready.
Anton
Nikolaevich, this is Rogozin speaking. Can you hear me? Do you copy? Yes, I do. Congratulations with the successful docking, Anton. You and, of course, Yulia and Klim, we were observing you from Baikonur, so the State Commission also is congratulating you. We wish you to start your mission challenge with successfully. Thank you so much for your congratulations and greetings. How are you feeling? How is your mood? Everything is great. We managed even to do some shooting, filming. Yes, and actually, you know, she looks well. I mean, Yulia. Yeah, it was a little bit dramatic at the end. You know, just for your, you know, in order for your movie to be more dramatic. Yes, that's, we thought that as much. All right, now get ready for the operations, and now Konstantin Lvovich will be talking to you. How are you feeling, guys? Feeling great. Everything is good, and I can confirm they are feeling well. Dmitry Olegovich has already said that the situation was created, you know, for your purposes, that as if there was an agreement for that. But when you start filming and the camera starts operating, you know, you don't have anything, any other option but to act. So how is Yulia feeling? Well, she is round, a little bit puffed, but she is very beautiful. And nevertheless, we had beautiful sunsets and sunrises. So we looked at out of the window a little bit. It was a breathtaking view. Guys, the whole country and even the whole world was watching, you know, observing your flight. Anton was great. So what about our kids on the ground? How are they? Your kids are fine. Don't worry. Well, this is the most important thing. We are also feeling fine. So, you know, the kids sometimes are much more reasonable and behave better in these situations than adults. Yes, I agree. So Mishustin, the Prime Minister, is also congratulating you, and he said that he watched the launch, and so President administration representatives also are sending their regards. So you have a lot of responsibility upon your shoulders. So I think that you will start your adaptation and adaptation to the weightlessness, and will start working as per your schedule. You don't have much time, actually, and we will be standing by for the results of your great work. Again, congratulations. And we wish you success in everything, and of course to successfully transition to the station and start working. Thank you so much.
Congratulatory words from Dmitry Rogozin, the head of the Russian space agency Roscosmos, from the Baikonur Hotel at the launch site in Baikonur, Kazakhstan, almost 4 hours after the Soyuz MS-19 launched to the International Space Station, culminating a 2-orbit rendezvous just a few minutes behind schedule as Anton Shkaplerov took over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz due to some communications issues in the home stretch of the approach for the contact and capture to the Rassvet module. All of that ultimately successful, with docking occurring at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time, as the Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 260 miles just north of the Philippine Islands. The docking probe was retracted to form a hard mate, hooks closed on both sides of the docking interface, and leak checks at that docking interface will take place a short time from now. That will lead to the opening of the hatches, enabling Shkaplerov, Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and her producer-director Klim Shipenko to enter the international outpost for 12 days of movie making.
The propellant 488. The first spherical tank 81. Second 243. Copy. That's propellant.
Мало. Интересно. Время отсыпки ориентировочно 15.
The time of the docking mechanism engaged is approximately 15:21. SEPCA or docking mechanism engaged 15:21. Copy. Now I'm at page 58. I have instruction on the display after the docking mechanism engaged. So the LED is not illuminated. The KDU repress is not illuminated. ISN and navigation equipment is not illuminated. KSP command signal matrix. I am transitioning to the KSP right and waiting for your go to do the transition. Острей, MCC Moscow. Moscow, come again.
Разрешаем выполнять действия по указанию Земли. Переход на МБС, страница 58.
So it's a go to transition to MBS, headline com. It is page 58. Could you please repeat? Is it a go? Yes, it is a go. So I'm releasing the push-to-talk buttons and transition to MBS, headline com. Astray Moscow on space to ground 1. How do you copy? We copy you loud and clear. We also copy you loud and clear via MBS.com. So we are transitioning to the joint power. You stand by. We will give you a go. Okay, we're standing by for your go. Crew members talking to each other. If you cannot secure it until it clicks, you can do it at maximum length and then secure it with a hook. Okay. Astray Moscow. Go ahead, Moscow. It's a go to transition to joint power as per page 58. Copy. I'm sending B5 command.
Принято, Петр, спасибо. Ну, осталось нам камеры только проверить для репортажа. Ты можешь сделать по форме 24.
Now B7 command is being sent. B1 command.
Если успеют зарядиться, тогда получится снять запись входа.
And I'm taking 15-minute measurement, but actually we don't need any more measurements. That's all? Yes, that's all. The one joint power. Moscow, Astray 1, I completed all actions as per page 58, copy. So you're now on joint power, on the joint power with the station. Yes, the LED is illuminated, copy. Just for your reference, the SKV 128 and 0 will be entered, copy. Astray, now go to page 59, SRBO hatch opening and transitioning to BO. Copy. Page 16. No, it is 59. No, page 16. Opening of the hatch, equalize the pressure, open the lock of the cover of the hatch, and so on and so on. Okay, so let us start taking off all the straps so that it is not in the way. Okay, it won't be in the way.
До разрешения можно включать.
Well, we can actually switch on lights here. So why are we in the dark? Yes, of course. I can buckle it up like this so that it will be more comfortable for you to take it. Yes, of course. Thank you. Well, can we release the straps here? Well, but you know, you will start moving upwards. Yeah, but you can stretch your legs. All right, so we should start equalizing pressure between SR and BO. Okay, so in SI it is 801 and in BO it is 825. Now let us start equalizing the pressure, monitoring equalization. Moscow, Astray 1, we are equalizing pressure between the descent module and orbital module BO. Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. Just to recap, despite some communications issues that forced Anton Shkaplerov, the Soyuz commander of the MS-19 vehicle, to take over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz for the final few meters and its final approach for docking, the link up to the International Space Station's Rassvet module did occur without incident. It occurred normally. A few minutes behind schedule at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time, as the Soyuz and the station flew 260 miles just north of the Philippine Islands. The docking probe on the Soyuz retracted, and hooks closed on both sides of the docking interface to form a hard mate between the two vehicles. Shkaplerov, Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and her producer director, Klim Shipenko, are now at the International Space Station. They will begin a series of leak checks that should result in the opening of the hatches between the Soyuz and the International Space Station around 9:05 a.m. Central Time, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time. We will be back on the air for hatch opening coverage about 40 minutes from now at 8:30 Central, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we'll follow along as pressure and leak checks are conducted, and the depressurization, the repressurization of the small vestibule, the small passageway between the Soyuz and the Rassvet module takes place. That will lead to the opening of the hatches and the greetings between the crew members, the Expedition 65 crew led by Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency, who is the new station commander, and the newly arrived inhabitants of the station, as 12 days of movie making will begin for Peresild and Shipenko for their movie called Challenge. Once again, docking occurring a few minutes behind schedule, but nonetheless successfully at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. So don't go away. We'll be back shortly at the bottom of the hour at 8:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern, with our hatch opening coverage for the Soyuz MS-19. For now, this is Mission Control Houston.
suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
morning from Mission Control Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where flight controllers here belonging to the Orbit 1 team have been on console throughout the overnight hours into the early morning hours, presiding with their Russian counterparts at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow for the rendezvous and docking of the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft that linked up to the Rassvet module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the station at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time, completing a two-orbit rendezvous that began with the launch of the Soyuz earlier this morning from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. That liftoff occurred at 3:55 a.m. Central Time, 4:55 a.m. Eastern Time, as Anton Shkaplerov, the Soyuz commander, Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and her producer-director Klim Shipenko went skyward on the Soyuz 2.1A booster, a flawless launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome as the vehicle arced out to the northeast. 8 minutes and 46 seconds later, the Soyuz spacecraft separated from the third and upper stage of the Soyuz booster, unfurled its solar arrays and navigational antennas, and began the two-orbit chase to catch up to the International Space Station. You're looking at video of the opening, the unfurling of those arrays that took place less than 9 minutes after launch. Several hours later, the Soyuz arrived in the vicinity of the International Space Station. It had been on automatic approach to the complex before some communications problems occurred in the final stretch of the rendezvous. Anton Shkaplerov, the Soyuz commander, took over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz, which then slowly but surely eased its way on final approach for a link up to the Rassvet module, again at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. The bottom line was a successful docking. Once the two vehicles had contact and capture with one another, the docking probe on the Soyuz retracted, and hooks on both sides of the docking interface closed around one another to form a hard mate between the Soyuz and the international outpost. Since then, with the docking having occurred about an hour and 10 minutes ago, the crew on board the Soyuz, Shkaplerov, Peresild, and Shipenko, have conducted leak checks on their side of the docking interface. Soon, the small vestibule, the small passageway between the Soyuz and the Rassvet module will be pressurized, and hatches will swing open shortly after 9 a.m. Central Time to enable the three new arrivals at the International Space Station to enter into the Rassvet module in the Russian segment. And they'll be joining their Expedition 65 crewmates, led by the new station commander, Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency, for a welcoming ceremony and greetings that will take place before they get down to business. The rest of the day's activities today will include a safety briefing that is common practice for all new arrivals at the International Space Station, before a familiarization period for Shipenko and Peresild, who are spaceflight participants. They're not bona fide expedition crew members. They are spaceflight participants on board for one specific reason, and that is 12 days of movie making for a movie entitled Challenge. Peresild, the veteran Russian actress and the first actress to fly in space, is going to portray a surgeon launched to the International Space Station to perform a surgical procedure on a critically ill crew member that will be played in the movie by Oleg Novitsky, the veteran Russian cosmonaut who has been part of the Expedition 65 crew since his launch from Baikonur back in April with NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hei and Russian cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov. Shipenko and Peresild will again spend 12 days on board the International Space Station. They plan to return to Earth on the morning of October 17th, Kazakhstan time, on the Soyuz MS-18 spacecraft, the one that arrived with Novitsky, Van der Heij, and Dubrov back in April. They'll be coming home to a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan on October 17th. Remaining on board the station will be Anton Shkaplerov, the veteran Russian cosmonaut, who will stay on board until the end of March of next year, with Van der Heij and Dubrov, who will be coming home with some 355 days in space since they were launched back on April 9th of this year.
Pressure monitoring valve.
So the launch was flawless. Earlier today, the rendezvous and docking went smoothly until the final minutes of the final approach, when some of the communications problems occurred. Some of that attributed to bad weather in Guam, where the tracking and data relay satellite system maintains a relay capability to ground stations. The tracking and data relay satellite system had some dropouts. There were some issues with the communications capability with the Corps' automated rendezvous system, and as a result, Shkaplerov was ordered by Russian flight controllers to default to a manual approach. He took over the hand controller on board the Soyuz vehicle and manually flew the Soyuz in for a flawless docking to the Rosviet module on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station.
I'm performing the final adjustment.
Copy. Oh, this is okay. This is nominal. After 1 minute, I'm closing Kakate valve. Copy, and we're standing by for the first measurement reading. For the time 16:38.
It is possible there will be a drop in COM for 15
FD pressure
minutes.
is?
Copy.
Почти 0. 2 миллиметра.
2 millimeters, almost 0. How copy? Copy 2 millimeters.
В принципе, его, да, ты можешь пока поменять то, что ты хотела, а так его можно двигать.
Piotr, we can see you.
Его только вот под что-то его, да, сунь, да. Можно еще чуть-чуть назад.
I understand you moved the camera. Well, maybe I could put it back even more, a little bit. Yes, let's try it.
This view inside of the Russian segment of the International Space Station in the Rosviet module. You're looking at the hatchway, behind which is the Soyuz vehicle. There's a good view of Russian cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov. He's checking the camera angle and the equipment in that passageway leading to the hatch of the Soyuz vehicle. Again, on the other side of that hatch are Russian cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov, Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and Russian producer-director Klim Shipenko conducting leak checks. This will take several more minutes before pressure is equalized on both sides of the docking interface that will lead to the opening of the hatch.
As needed.
We will figure it out
Copy,
later.
turning off the video
Moscow,
camera.
we're standing by for another measurement reading.
2 миллиметра.
2 millimeters.
40.
In 2 minutes. 2 millimeters, copy.
Так, что еще забирать, но...
Суд Москвы в канале СГ-2 для Олега и
Station Moscow for Oleg and Pyotr.
люков будет примерно через час.
Hatch opening will be about in an hour. Copy, in an hour.
This is Mission Control Houston, and as you probably heard just a moment ago, one of the Russian flight controllers informing the crew that hatch opening might be an hour away.
You have disconnected all medical harnesses, correct? Yep. Mind the camera here. The hoses are disconnected. Yes, I confirm. Be careful with them. I don't think there were any snagging here.
So with the docking occurring a few minutes behind schedule and the crew working methodically through leak checks on the Soyuz side of the docking interface, the estimate now is that hatch opening will be about 35 minutes behind schedule, somewhere around 9:40 a.m. Central Time, 10:40 Eastern Time.
Copy.
We'll stay with you to bring you all the latest as we listen in to the conversations on board the International Space Station and the Soyuz MS-19. But again, hatch opening originally scheduled for 9:05 a.m. Central, 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time, now likely about 35 minutes behind schedule.
Ну, давайте лучше сходим. С вами давай лучше сходим, да. Угу.
Moscow, Astray, after 5 minutes, the pressure is still 2 millimeters. 16:43 is the time. Continue walking. Page 66, step 7.4. So the big cavity monitoring without repress. I'm opening KKT, vestibule pressure monitoring valve. It is open. And I will have to stand by for 5 minutes. For the time
44.
16:44.
Сейчас давление показывает.
The pressure is
2. Давление 2.
2 millimeters. How copy? What is the pressure is 2 millimeters?
Под резинки. Так. Чтобы не улетало.
Yeah, you secure it here so that it doesn't flow away.
Откройте по Москве.
Astray, MCC Moscow.
Настроиться по Москве в канале ЛКВ-1. Настроиться по Москве в канале ЛКВ-1. Настроиться по Москве.
Острее, Moscow, Moscow, острее.
Появились. Значит, стоп Москвы. Я закончил.
I completed the
4. У меня 2 миллиметра.
click check of the big volume. So delta is 0 after 5 minutes. So it is not leaking. Copy.
Дальше по какому пункту?
So what is the next step for me? 7.6, Moscow.
Далее работаете по пункту 7.6 на БВП из ОБ.
Yes, that's correct. 7.6
Принял.
Is the repress from the station. Okay, I'm closing to then standby 1. I'm standing by.
This is station on 2 for timeline.
Go ahead on 2 for timeline.
We're talking with our Russian colleagues, and they seem to be a little bit behind on the timeline for the hatch opening. The docking was a little bit late, so it might have consequences for us. We're being told at 14:35 for the hatch opening.
Continue performing step 7.6. Copies step 7.6. Repress.
Okay, we copy. That's the first we heard in that time. And we'll,
Kabade is closed, and I am opening vestibule pressure monitoring valve cockpit.
It's just a guesstimate. With nothing official.
I'm sending S5 command.
To be happening.
Copy.
While I've got you, could we have somebody check the cables on the Node 1 camcorder? That's our next troubleshooting step.
Там что-то не в порядке, скажи мне взять планшет.
So do you need me to retrieve my tablet? So I'm sending S5, KVD SOB. Copy. I will deactivate it after 1 minute. That's affirmed.
Минут прошла, включаю.
After 1 minute, switching it off. The pressure is 749.
737.
It is 737 in SA.
Принято.
Copy.
Время закрытия КВД СУОБ какое у вас было?
When did you close KVD SOB valve? At what time?
16:55 30.
16:55 30. Copy.
Продолжаем работать по 68-й странице, пункт 7.7.
Continue to step 7.7 at page 68.
Принял пункт 7.7.
Step 7.
Так, аперитив был открыт ККС.
Point 7. I'm opening KKS and BO, small cavity valve, and take measurements after 3 minutes. We confirm.
Острый, ожидаем от вас первый замер.
At 3, we're standing by for the first measurement reading.
Открыл ККС.
KKS is open.
16.
For the time 16:57.
Давление сейчас.
The pressure is 755. How copy?
Принято.
Copy.
Цикл Москва.
Astray, MCC Moscow.
Давление 700.
The pressure is 755.
Принято.
Copy.
И по готовности можно
And
двух скафандров на сушку.
once you are ready,
This is Mission Control Houston. This view of the International Space Station Flight Control Room here at Mission Control Houston, as flight controllers are in the midst of a shift handover, working with their Russian counterparts half a world away at the Russian Mission Control Center in the town of Korolyov outside of Moscow. Aboard the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft that docked to the International Space Station about an hour and 40 minutes ago, Soyuz Commander Anton Shkaplerov, the veteran Russian cosmonaut now making his fourth flight into space, Russian actress Yulia Peresild and her producer-director Klim Shipenko are in the process of conducting leak checks on their side of the docking interface between the Soyuz and the Rosviet module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Shkaplerov manually docked the Soyuz to Rosviet at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time, taking over manual control of the flying of the Soyuz from the Corps' automated rendezvous system due to some communications issues that cropped up during final approach. Nothing significant. Shkaplerov was able to guide the Soyuz in to a smooth docking, after which the docking probe retracted, hooks on both sides of the docking interface closed, and a hard mate was established. The leak checks are, in fact, continuing. We're about 35 minutes away from the opening of the hatch between the Soyuz and the Rosviet module that will enable the three new inhabitants of the International Space Station to board the complex and be greeted by the Expedition 65 crew led by the new station commander Thomas Pesquet.
that's right. After 3 minutes, the pressure is holding stable. It's 755. Copy. I am closing KKS valve. Copy.
Дальше 7-8.
So, should I proceed to 7-8? Step 7-8? Yes, but after you're standing by for the repress of the vestibule, and it's going to be 10 minutes. Right, it's 16:55:30. So you need to.
We mentioned a moment ago that Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency took over command of the International Space Station yesterday from Japanese astronaut Aki Hoshide. Let's turn the clock back about 24 hours and take a look at that change of command ceremony that took place on board the International Space Station, making Pesquet the first Frenchman to command the international outpost.
Today we are gathered here for the change of command ceremony. During the past 5 months, I had the honor and privilege to serve as the International Space Station commander. During these 5 months, we had, in addition to all the experiments, the science that we did, we had multiple successful EVAs and a lot of cargo vehicles coming, going. And we had a lot of maintenance and also upgrades. And thank you all for working together and making this team such a great team with all these achievements. Oleg, Piotr, Mark, Shane, Megan, and Thomas. You guys are amazing. I couldn't be happier than being a member of this team. So thank you. And for the folks on the ground, every single one of you in Houston, Huntsville, Munich, Tsukuba, and Moscow, thank you for your help, your support, your hard work, and dedication. And throughout all the agencies supporting the International Space Station program, we could not have done such a great work without your help. And so it is my honor to give you, Thomas Pesquet the key to the International Space Station. And Thomas, you've been an amazing crewmate, and you're going to be a superb commander. So congratulations.
Thank you, sir. All right, thanks, Aki. I think the whole crew is going to join me to thank you for everything you did during those 5 months, 5 months in increment Expedition 65. You've led us every day, always smiling, always being positive, always being in a good mood, and you've clearly, I think, prioritized our common goals and well-being above your own. And I think you've lost a few hours of sleep in the process. You have this uncanny ability to, whenever help is needed on the space station, you just materialize out of thin air, no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing. But you always show up and always, with such a positive attitude that it rubbed off on us, and sometimes diffused the frustration that can build up when you're struggling with a difficult task. So thanks a lot for that. So like you said, we've had also a couple of challenging operational situations during Expedition 65. We went through them very safely, so you're no stranger to that. So thanks, Aki. So I have big shoes to fill. You took a lot of pressure off me by doing such a fantastic job that I don't even have to think about doing better than you, because it's not humanly possible. But yeah, thanks for being an example and an inspiration. I want to say a few words about everybody else on the team, because I've had the pleasure to serve under Shane as a commander of Expedition 50, and of course on the Crew Dragon. Oleg was my commander on the Soyuz last time I flew to space. Mark and Megan have had leadership positions within the astronaut office, so I've learned a lot from all of you guys on the ground and up here every day. So I'm hugely thankful for that, honestly, and I'm looking forward now that it's my turn to try to do a good job to keep the mission safe, achieve our operational goals, and come back to our loved ones healthy and happy. So those are the goals. I want to say how proud I am as well to represent my country up here. There is no doubt in my mind that my career path and my opportunities owe a great deal to the leading and active role that France has always played in aerospace and in space exploration in particular, whether it be in its own name since 1962 with CNES, the French Space Agency, first Western European in space in '82, and lots of other flights, and of course within ESA since the very beginning. Merci à tous les décideurs, tous les ingénieurs et tous les actifs du secteur spatial. Si aujourd'hui je deviens le premier Français commandant d'un véhicule spatial, c'est en grande partie à vous que je le dois, donc j'espère qu'on peut s'en réjouir ensemble. Lastly, I want to say a few words about the ops team, the training team, medical team, and all the support functions on the ground. Because we're talking about the change of command up here on the space station, but there's a lot of leadership within the flight control team. There's a lot of brain power, obviously, on the ground, and a lot of people work really hard every day for us to come up here and do what we do. So I was thinking about it the other day, and you guys actually try to keep us safe, make us successful, and keep us happy. So it's kind of the definition of what it is to love someone, brotherly love, fatherly love, to care enough so that you want people to be safe, successful, and happy. So it seems like you guys love us, and it might fit the cultural stereotype, but it's no surprise that the words of love would come from a Frenchman from space. I think we all love you back, so thank you for everything you're doing. So that was a lot of words, but I think we have work to do. So looking forward to be the commander of all of you awesome individuals, and I think we can bring it in and do Expedition 65 on 3. 1, 2, 3, Expedition 65! Thanks.
Station Munich on 2 for Aki and Thomas. Aki, I think that I can speak for everybody when all communicators in saying that it's been an honor working with you these months and seeing your leadership and how you brought your team together, both on the ground and in space. So thank you very, very much. It's been really an honor. And for Thomas, je ne pourrais pas être plus heureux que ce soit tout, à nous représenter tout à l'ESA et en Europe, dans cette aventure extraordinaire que tu t'apprêtes à saisir. Nous sommes convaincus que tu apporterais ton style et ta compétence au quotidien dans ce grand rôle que tu viens d'assumer. Je suis sûr, et ici j'ajoute quelque chose de plus personnel, que cette aventure ajoutera de merveilleux souvenirs à ton expérience en tant qu'astronaute. Et finalement, travailler avec toi me rend fier, mais être ton ami est un privilège. Bonne chance.
Merci Lucas pour ces mots qui nous touchent. Thanks Lucas for those words. And it is a privilege being your friend, and I'm going to see you on the ground very soon. We'll all see you. We'll be happy. Take good care. See you soon. Thanks for everything.
And that was Monday's change of command ceremony aboard the International Space Station, enabling Thomas Pesquet of the European Space Agency to take over the reins of the command of the International Outpost from Aki Hoshide of the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency. While you were in the process of watching that, we continue to listen and follow along as the Soyuz MS-19 crew, Anton Shkaplerov, Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and her producer-director Klim Shipenko continue a methodical leak check on their side of the docking interface, the hatchway between the Soyuz and the International Space Station's Rassvet module. We are expecting hatch opening to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 30 minutes from now, as they work their way through the leak checks, making sure that pressure is equalized on both sides of the docking interface. So we'll stand by. We'll listen along as the crew talks to the Russian flight controllers of the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow, and stand by for the opening of the hatches, the greetings between the Expedition 65 crew and the newly arrived Soyuz crew, and a short welcoming ceremony.
What did you say?
Да, можно здесь скрыть.
And you can open it here. That's right.
Вот надо найти консервы. О, вот.
Okay, and we found it. These are the preserves.
Так, все аккуратно, что видишь, как летает.
Yeah, be careful. You see how everything starts floating if you're not careful.
Так, закрой пока. Если будешь это? Не, я пока ничего не.
Do you want this one? No, not. I don't want anything right now.
Откроем люки и спокойно.
Let's open the hatches, and then we can go about our business and do whatever we need to do.
Первые 5 минут прошли.
The first 5 minutes are down, and the pressure is 754. Copy, Anton. And once you are ready, we wanted to let you know what steps you need to perform to deactivate the vehicle. Are you ready to write the recommendations down? Yes, please stand by one. Okay, go ahead.
Я готов. Записываю.
I am ready for the Soyuz deactivation. It's going to be orbital flight, phases 25-38, and that's going to be step 4.
Так, страница 25.
Page 25 through 38, step 4. Okay.
Это один пункт?
So is it just one step?
Да, это один пункт.
Yes.
Консервация.
Basically, vehicle deactivation.
Я еще и писать пока хочу.
Are you trying to offer me juice? Because I don't think I should be drinking anything right now. And I'm so worried that if I open the juice, it's going to escape. So, and you can actually, once we open the hatches, you will be able to change and do everything else to get ready. So don't worry. Just wait for a little bit. And the pressure was 754, I remember. Good girl.
Russian flight controllers talking to Russian actress Yulia Peresild aboard the Soyuz spacecraft, basically advising her and her crewmates to take it methodically as they work to equalize the pressure. Everything going smoothly with that procedure that will lead to the pressurization of the vestibule, the small passageway between the Soyuz and the Rassvet module, and the opening of the hatch to the International Space Station some 25 minutes from now. Once that hatch is open and the crew has an opportunity to conduct a welcoming ceremony, they'll move into a standard safety briefing that is common practice for all arriving crew members on board the International Outpost. Peresild and Shipenko will waste no time beginning to shoot scenes on board in the Russian segment of the station, part of the 12 days of movie making that they intend to perform in support of the movie challenge that they're shooting on board the International Space Station.
P1 needs to be changed to P3. Papa 1 to Papa 3. Please stand by 1. That's going to be on page 35. Yes, 35, and that's step 4.3. Please, hold on. Stand by 1, because I am digging through all the books right now. Okay, I see that. And what did you say? P1 cartridge, you need to change it out with P cartridge 3. Copy. And where is P3 located? Do you have any information as far as where it is located? Let us check. And thank you in advance, Moscow. I'll be very grateful. While we are still looking for the location of the cartridge, for the from MRM-1 to the Soyuz, the ventilation in the modules needs to be set up this way. So you move a foot. Okay, so for the intramodular ventilation with the vehicle and MRM-1. Is that right? So take 2 units, a foot 2M. Okay, a foot 2M from MRM-1 with the barcode of. Are you ready to write it down? I am. So it's 00710 000 710 81R. Like as in Romeo. Hold on, my pencil floated away. And these are wipes, that's for trash, guys. What you doing? I am writing down the updates from Moscow. So what's the barcode one more time? The barcode is 000710181R, as in Romeo. Okay. That's Ford 2M, which is an MRM-1, and it needs to be moved to the orbital module. That is right. So you move it to your Soyuz. Understood. And then from there as well, you take BMP number 13 with 3 IPK mass. BMP number 19, or did you say 13? It's 19, 1-9. Okay, BMP number 13, 19 plus 3 IPK gas mass. Also from MRM-1. Okay. Yes, everything is from MRM-1. And about the cartridge number 3, go ahead. Cartridge is in behind a closeout panel. It's in BO, in servant. In servant. Okay. And they should be marked appropriately. There is P2, P3, and P4 cartridges there. Okay. And you want us to switch them out, right? So P1 from SI needs to be taken out, and you need to install P3 there. Okay, I copy.
Целлофан, Юль, целлофан, который...
And...
Нет, целлофан, которым сейчас вытащили белье свое, который с комбинезоном.
The plastic that you use to cover... So you just take your flight suit from there.
Да.
Остается по Москве.
Да, готов сейчас сделать 10-минутный замер, пока вам писал.
Да, подтверждаю.
Минутку. Ты уже пошла в туалет? Подожди, я замер сделаю, там 5 минут, я думаю. Да, что, как тебе удобнее. Цубмовская МКС канале времени, значит, 10-минутный замер, 17, давление 754. Как приняли?
Принято.
How copy? The pressure is 754. And guys, you need to perform the 15-minute measurement.
Да, все верно. Значит...
That's right, 754.
Принято. Ну и по поводу консервации...
And for the deactivation of the...
Сейчас, секунду.
Please stand by one.
Да, слушаю вас.
Дальше по поводу консервации.
And for the deactivation,
Корабль номер 748.
you move it to Soyuz 748.
Так, подождите.
Okay, stand by. I copy all. Do you want me to stow it there? And there should be a little button on the side. Okay. And once you have changed out, please let us know. Yulia, could you please check what's the MV pressure currently? What's the current pressure? Copy, thank you. Moscow. This is Astray, go ahead. That's for the leak check. So 1728 and the pressure is 754. How copy? We copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're continuing to hear conversations between the crew on board the Soyuz MS-19. You hear their call sign being referenced by Russian flight controllers through the interpreter as Astray. That's basically Astraeus, which is Anton Shkaplerov's Soyuz call sign. They are making their way methodically through the leak checks, pressure holding nicely at the docking interface between the Soyuz and the Rassvet module of the International Space Station. The Soyuz systems have now been deactivated as the crew on board the Soyuz is edging ever so close to the point where they will open the hatch and be greeted by the Expedition 65 crew on board the International Space Station for a short welcoming ceremony. Earlier, the Soyuz crew, after docking at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time, received a congratulatory call from Dmitry Rogozin, the head of the Russian space agency Roscosmos, who, along with the Russian State Commission, watched the docking from the Baikonur Hotel at the launch site in Baikonur, Kazakhstan. One of the items that will be on tap for Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress, and Klim Shipenko, her producer-director, will be to transfer their custom-made Soyuz seedliners from the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft over to the Soyuz MS-18 spacecraft that is currently docked to the recently arrived Nauka multipurpose laboratory module. They will exchange Soyuz seedliners with Mark Vandehei and Pyotr Dubrov. Oleg Novitsky, who will command the Soyuz MS-18 back to Earth with Peresild and Shipenko. His seedliner is in place in the center seat of the Soyuz MS-18's descent module. Novitsky will be returning to Earth with Peresild and with Shipenko on October 17th for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan. Shkaplerov remains on board the International Space Station, ultimately becoming station commander, and he will return to Earth in late March with Vandehei and Dubrov, who will have racked up some 355 days in space at the completion of their mission.
Mind his head, don't rotate his head a lot.
Station on 2 for timeline.
Hey, Megan. Good day. Just wanted to let you know that the T2 inspection, or T2 kind of exercise under supervision, we're going to shoot to do that at 1700 after the safety briefing, so you can plan your day around that.
Okay, I copy after the safety briefing. Got it. Thank you very much.
All right. Enjoy the hatch opening.
And one question for you while we're chatting real quick is the Node 3 camcorder setup indicated it should be on internal, so recording audio, is that the intent?
Stay firm. It will be recording the audio, but in private.
Okay, copy that. Thanks.
Поняли все мальчишки? По-моему, так вот, правильно я сказала? Вот этот номер. Да, все правильно, да. Видимо, все-таки так, да. Хотя бы без 100 грамм, конечно,
Moscow, Astray. Go ahead.
Значит, на время 17.
For the time 17:33.
17:32.
17:32. The pressure is 754. Copy.
Да. Все хорошо. Все хорошо будет.
Everything will be fine.
Да, черные штучки кверху вот эти. Да, все верно, все верно. Да. Ну, левый, правый разобрал. Левый, правый разобрал, там подписаны. Там фломастером написано. Ну, сними один. Сними один, посмотри.
So you remove one. There are some marks or labeling made with cellophane.
Да. Дело привычки. Оделись 17:30.
So,
45 носим, 15 отдыхаем.
17:30 is the time when you put it on. 17:30. 5:30.
Я надеюсь, надо там подсоединять. Сейчас мы узнаем, где сушка.
I will ask Moscow. Moscow, Astray.
На связи.
Go ahead.
Так, я тут переходил на бумажную. Подскажите.
So, I'm now on the paper version of the ODF. So, could you please tell me which page has information regarding the dryout of spacesuit?
Сейчас, минутку.
Stand by one.
Да, спасибо.
Thank you, standing by.
Да, примерно за 5 минут сообщу вам.
Да, принял, спасибо. Пусть этот оденет. Сейчас не до этого, да.
Let him put that one on. Astray, Moscow. Go ahead.
По поводу сушки скафандра.
It's regarding the drying of spacesuit.
Страница 39, пункт 5.2.
It's Orbital Flight Book, page 39, step 5.2. Thank you.
Мы также ожидаем от вас.
We're also standing by for the 20-minute reading from you.
This is Mission Control Houston. If you're just joining us, we're continuing to follow along as the crew on board the Soyuz MS-19, veteran cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov, veteran Russian actress Yulia Peresild, and her veteran Russian producer-director Klim Shipenko. They arrived at the International Space Station over 2 hours ago at 7:22 a.m. Central Time, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time for a docking to the Rosviet module. They are in the process of wrapping up leak checks on their side of the docking interface to Rosviet, and that will set the stage for the opening of the hatch and the greeting by the Expedition 65 crew, along with a welcoming ceremony that will culminate their journey that began with their launch at 3:55 a.m. Central Time this morning, 4:55 Eastern, aboard the Soyuz MS-19 spacecraft from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. Peresild and Shipenko will begin 12 days of movie making for their movie called Challenge on board the International Space Station, a movie set around Peresild portraying a surgeon who was launched to the space station to conduct an emergency procedure on an ailing crew member. That crew member will be portrayed in the movie by Russian cosmonaut Oleg Novitsky of the Expedition 65 crew.
Station pressure is now 760. Stand by one.
Прости, я имею в виду камеру.
Moscow Station on the SKGS Interface Still Monitoring Unit display. The pressure on the station is 712. But you know, the crew using MV on board the station reported that the pressure was 760. So we will use this data. All right, copy 760.
And once you get to the module, please activate the camera as well.
RPV-1 is closed. Stand by one. Stand by one. Astray, stand by one. Standing by.
Астрей, уточните, вы по какому пункту работаете? 793?
Astri, what step you're at right now? 793? No, 792. I told you to use to work step 793. Copy. So I did not hear you quite clearly. Sorry. So I am using the pressure reported by the crew, 760. So I am sending 5. Copy. And we'll have to stand by for 1 minute. F5.
Moscow, Oleg, I see you on the screen. Well, we're basically ready. Oh, I see something is working.
And a good view of Oleg Novitsky in the passageway, the vestibule, if you will, at the Rosviet module.
Understand.
And we are getting close to that hatch opening as the pressure appears now to be equalized between Rosviet and the Soyuz MS-19. You're looking at the hatch behind which are the 3 new inhabitants of the International Space Station.
So we're going to broadcast it on the big screen now. Okay, got it.
So we are now standing by for hatch opening.
Okay, it's good that we don't speak yet.
S6 is sent after 1 minute. Copy. КВДС ОБ LED is not illuminated. Copy. Now stand by for the station hatch opening. So they are opening their
ISS MCC Moscow, Space Security. All of you can start opening the hatch from your side. Copy, you're giving me a go to open hatch. Anton, give us a couple of minutes so we can activate the cameras because the batteries were low and we were waiting until the very last minute as you told us. Okay, go ahead.
Klim Shipenko, not the only producer-director at the International Space Station. Quite a bit of documentation being taken on the station side. Oleg Novitsky in the field of view, right at the hatchway, as the MS-19, the Soyuz crew itself, Shkaplerov, Peresild, and Shipenko, begin work to open up the hatch on their side of the docking interface.
Обычно борт-инженер сидит внизу, чтобы не летал я, он то, что надо, там, включает край, либо смотрит, а мне приходится это делать.
Usually a flight engineer does that, does this part of this action, so, but I have to do it all.
Все, красавцы. Так.
We are good. Everything is good.
Москва МКС, ВСГ-2.
MCC Moscow ISS and Space Ground 2, go ahead. The camera is on. We are ready to open the hatch. You can go ahead and open the hatch. The Soyuz side hatch is still open. It's still closed. Okay, so we're going to open the hatch and then we're going to exit the view. Okay, yes, that is correct. And then the guys are going to open the hatch from their side and then they're going to float towards the camera, correct? So we need to stay out of the picture in that case. Yes, that is correct. Okay, sounds good.
Oleg Novitsky now about to rotate the hatch handle. That will lead to the opening of the hatch on the Rosviet side of the docking interface.
Tuck it under the rubber band.
Behind the rubber band.
So we're currently waiting for them
for the station
open.
crew who is opening the hatch on their side.
The Rosviet hatch is open, standing by for the opening of the Soyuz hatch.
Astray, Moscow. Go ahead. The OBSU hatch is open. So open KKT and cover the valves as per page 70, and so the block actions on the page. The valves are being opened. So cover there is being opened. It is open now. Okay, КВД БОСУ is used for pressure equalization for 2 minutes.
Горит у меня S5.
S5 LED.
S3.
No, correction, S3 is illuminated. So we're standing by for 2 minutes, and then I will close KKT valve. We're standing by for the pressure equalization.
One more step in the process to equalize pressure across that hatch interface. And then Anton Shkaplerov will open up the hatch, and the Soyuz MS-19 crew will begin to make their way inside the International Space Station.
Monitor. Monitor the pressure equalization. Well, it will be equalized when it will be constant for 2 minutes. Okay, now it is 8:10, because on our side it is a little bit higher, because they have 760, which is ideal for habitation.
Alex
Peter on SpaceWeek round 2 for your information. The guys from the Soyuz are still working on equalizing pressure.
Космонавты. Какие у вас номера, кстати, космонавтов? Ну, я 111, например. Это легко. У Пети надо знать, какой он, а дальше вы. Дальше Ким или ты Ким? Да. Хороший вопрос.
My number in the cosmonaut core is 111, and yours can be calculated if we know what number Pete Peter has. It's a good question.
Обед. Стал.
Russian cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov with the video camera at the ready, standing by for the final seconds here of pressure equalization across the hatchway before Anton Shkaplerov opens up that hatch to complete today's process of arrival at the International Space Station, allowing himself, Yulia Peresild, the Russian actress, and her producer-director Klim Shipenko to enter the complex where they will spend the next 12 days movie making.
I think the battery is going to go out again. It just shuts down when the battery goes out. Okay, I will check how much longer it will take to open the hatch. Maybe you can just turn off the camera for the time being. Well, you see, it takes about 2 minutes for the camera to really activate and start working. Okay, copy.
After the pressure equalization and after the BOSU hatch cover opening, please go to page 72.
You can turn it off for now. It will take another 5 minutes.
The pressure now is 7.75. Copy. Astri, correction, page 72. Before you transition to the station, you will have to perform the actions at the bottom of the page. Put the cap on the cartridge at page 72. And do I have to perform the COM asset deactivation? You will have to do it after you're done with the previous action. So you will have to install the cap,
Moscow ISS
and the BO verification that it should be capped or deactivate MBS, and after that,
with the flash,
you will be able to transition to the station. I'll copy.
Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to provide my expert opinion on the specific subject.
Well, can I do it right now?
Because when the main character, when the main character is going to be going floating in, and then the flashes are going to be going off at any
okay, now I understand.
Crew members. So if you set up high sensitivity for the camera, then you can do away with the flashes. Well, you see, we didn't take
I'm confused.
Camera.
We
take the photo camera.
The hatch first, and we'll do the transition. Only after that we deactivate.
So let's ask the guys not to use the flash. Okay, we'll try to do that. All right, thank you very much.
Once again. Now, we will equalize the pressure up to 760. Then the hatch will be open. Then we will enter the station one by one. And then, so should we go to SM for the press conference? Before you fully open the hatch cover, you will have to perform all actions at the bottom of the page. Put the cap on, deactivate MBS, COM assets, and after that you will transition to the station. What about COM assets? And only after that, com assets should be deactivated. No, actually, by com assets, we understand it's MBS only. Well, you know, I'm confused even more now. Okay, so let us try to figure it out. So the Su cap first. It is in the container number 7, and I have located it already, this cap. Okay, so it has thread here. So I will be able to install it only after the hatch is open, correct? Yes, that's right. So there are 2 options here, actually. You can open the hatch, transition to the station, but then go back. And please don't forget, after that, perform all the actions at the bottom of the page, and then you can go back to the station. All right. So could you please tell me how we do this procedure on the station? So the video conference will be from a service module, correct? Yes, you will have a conference from service module. And after the conference, I can go back and ask you again, you know, so that you remind me of all the actions so that I don't forget the order. Okay, so I'm interested in where. All right. You can ask Oleg. Okay, all tabs should be in container number 7. All right, container number 7. Yes, I have located it. So, Astrid, could you please give the reading, the pressure reading? It's 762 on MV. Copy 762. Astrid. Now perform the actions on page 721, opening. The bow is to page cover. It's
Moscow on station round 2. For Peter, you can activate the camera. Copy.
8.1. Cover, hatch cover opening. Sounds. The whole ceremony. Okay, yes, we are leaving them here for a while.
And the Soyuz hatch now open at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station flew 260 miles over the Atlantic Ocean.
Вот так. Так, получи. Все, красавцы.
Okay, one by one. Take turns.
Юля, надеюсь.
Yulia, bend a little. Bend your head. Moscow, Astray, we have opened the also hatch and we are translating into the station. How copy? We copy all.
First in, Soyuz Commander Anton Shkaplerov. Russian actress Yulia Peresild. And her producer-director, Klim Shipenko. Ten people on board the International Space Station now as the crew makes its way into the Zvezda service module for a welcoming ceremony. So a little more than 6 hours after they launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, the Soyuz MS-19 crew is now on board the International Space Station. Cameras now will be set up in the Zvezda service module for the welcoming ceremony.
ISS Москва в канале СГ-1 для Олега.
ISS MCC Moscow and Space to Ground 1 for Oleg and Peter. You can activate the SM camera. MCC Moscow ISS and Space to Ground 2. Go ahead and Space to Ground 2. You can activate the camera from the service module, and we're going to perform the PAO event on Space to Ground 1. Copy. I'm going to translate to...
and the view now inside the Zvezda service module.
The SM. We see the video.
The Soyuz MS crew in the foreground, Yulia Peresild in the red flight suit, Anton Shkaplerov in the center, front and center, and Klim Shipenko.
Moscow ISS and Space to Ground 1. Go ahead and Space to Ground 1. So I'm going to give them all headsets. Okay, copy, guys. I see you very well. Congratulations on the arrival, and I'm going to give the mic to the balcony. MCC Moscow ISS on space to ground 1.
Отвечаем, СГ-1.
Go ahead and space to ground 1. I read you loud and clear. Hello? We're ready. The ISS crew members are ready for the conference. Copy, guys. We're going to give the mic to the balcony. Hello.
Hello. Yes, we can copy you. Hi, everybody. Good day. Anton, congratulations to the entire MS-19 crew and personally you as a crew commander on the successful arrival on board the International Space Station and the beginning of your globally important mission. I wish you to achieve all the goals of this mission and of course happy and safe return, and most of all, please stay healthy. And I congratulate the ISS crew on the arrival of new additions. Thank you. Thank you. Yulia Sergeyevna, greetings to you. This is your personal president. Here, with our backup crew, the entire backup crew greets you on board the space station as a member of Increment 65. Lisa, and everybody, I love you all. We made it here, and Galina, hi. The entire fund and all our colleagues, we all couldn't work. Everything was paralyzed except for watching your arrival to the station. But anyway, everything is nominal on the ground too. We're doing well. We are so proud of you all. Please have successful mission. Hugs, kisses, and lots of images. So beautiful and so gorgeous. Hello, Yulia. This is Petrushkova, and your city, Pskov, is together with you. It was extremely emotional for everyone, from sadness to happiness. And I'm used to the fact that we usually have some distance between us, but now it's space and Earth. That's really impressive. Yulia, we love you. We love your entire team. We are very proud of you. Now I know what to wish to the cosmonauts. Everything should go nominal. That's our best wish. And we want all your dreams to come true, and we'll be waiting for you back here on Earth. I love you all, and my best wishes and regards to my beloved city of Pskov. Hello, Yulia, Anton, Klim. This is Channel 1. From Mission Control Moscow, we are following your mission. Of course, we were knocking on wood together with everybody else. Congratulations on your successful arrival on orbit. We have very little time. We want to thank MCC Moscow for this opportunity. Please share some of your feelings and impressions. What happened? What did you experience over those 3.5 hours? How did you manage, if I may ask, and what are your nearest plans? Everything was new to us today. Every 30 seconds brought something entirely new. And we've just met the rest of the crew, the cosmonauts and astronauts who've been living on board the station for some time now. But I'm still in a dream. I still feel that it's all just a dream and I'm asleep. Yes, it is almost impossible to believe that this actually all came to reality. I also feel like I'm still dreaming. Well, in all senses, it was incredible. It was hard, but it was great to arrive on board the station. We were met by friends, and now we'll have to learn what to do next now. So our feelings, like actually 5 minutes ago we floated in, so there isn't much I can say yet. But I actually love this fastest arrival. It was actually quite fast. Well, we had a small delay, but thank you, MCC Moscow, Vladimir Alexeyevich Solovyov. Thank you, who taught us how to make decisions on our own. Everything went just fine. We managed. And now we are looking forward to our work on orbit. Now, how do you think your guys managed? That was their first challenge. Could you please repeat the question? So, that was Yulia's and Klim's first challenge. How did they manage? Exactly as it was supposed to be. They helped. They knew what to do. And they were using tablets. And they were aware of the situation. So everything was done exactly the way it was required by their training. So they did a great job. Okay, thank you. And one more thing. Best regards from your family, of course, from Tanya and your daughters. They could not be available for this video conference, but now they left Baikonur. And also your classmates send in their hellos and their support. Thank you, Andrei. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. This concludes our video conference. One more time, congratulations on your successful arrival, and thank you all, the entire ISS crew member, for arranging for this video conference. Now, guys, enjoy yourselves. Have some rest.
This is Mission Control Houston. The orbital outpost turns into a high-flying movie set for the next 12 days as Yulia Peresild, Klim Shipenko, Anton Shkaplerov now on board the the complex, receiving some initial briefing words from Oleg Novitsky, the Russian cosmonaut, as they look at their timeline for upcoming activities that will include a routine safety briefing that is standard staple operations for all new arrivals on board the International Space Station. In the congratulatory calls, there was one for Peresild from Valentina Tereshkova from the Russian Mission Control Center. Tereshkova, the first woman to fly in space back in 1963. Peresild and Shipenko will spend the next 12 days filming elements of a movie called Challenge, in which she portrays a surgeon flown to the space station to perform an emergency procedure on an alien crew member that will be portrayed in the movie by Oleg Novitsky, the Russian cosmonaut, who they will return to Earth with aboard the Soyuz MS-18 on October 17th, Kazakhstan time, for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of that country. So to recap, the launch of Russian actress Yulia Peresild, her producer-director Klim Shipenko, and veteran Russian cosmonaut Anton Shkaplerov occurred at 3:55 a.m. Central Time, 4:55 a.m. Eastern Time. The Soyuz MS-19 reaching orbit less than 9 minutes later on a two-orbit rendezvous that resulted in a docking to the Rassvet module of the International Space Station at 7:22 a.m. Central, 8:22 a.m. Eastern Time. After working leak checks and the equalization of pressure across the docking interface, the hatch to the Soyuz spacecraft opened at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and you just saw the welcoming ceremony where they received congratulatory calls from officials and dignitaries at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow. So with that, let's close our coverage for today with a couple of programming notes. Next up, one of the big ticket items will be the SpaceX Crew Dragon launch for Crew 3 to the International Space Station, with that launch date set for October 30th. The Crew 3 crew, NASA astronauts Raja Chari, the Crew Dragon commander, the pilot Tom Marshburn, Matthias Maurer of the European Space Agency, and NASA astronaut Caleb Barron. There will be a mission overview news conference here at the Johnson Space Center tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time, 12 noon Central Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on NASA television. The following day, on Thursday, October 7th, the 4 crew members will conduct a news conference here at the Johnson Space Center at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, to talk about their upcoming launch from the Kennedy Space Center, again scheduled for October 30th. So you'll want to tune in for the mission overview briefing tomorrow and the crew news conference on Thursday. With that, we'll wrap up our coverage. We appreciate your time and attention today, and thanks for joining us. 3 new crew members on board the International Space Station, including a Russian actress and her producer-director, as the International Space Station plays host to the filming of a movie called Challenge for the next 12 days. With that, we'll close our coverage. Thanks for watching throughout the course of the morning. This is Mission Control Houston.